Hey there, I'm Mr. Catchy, and I'm on a mission to help you to unlock your full potential and get to where you truly want to be in life. Welcome back to our Boosting Testosterone series. Today, we're diving into part 4, where we're going to go over the power of mindset and its impact on testosterone and masculinity. I'm going to share with you the 5 most important masculine traits you should incorporate right now to make sure you reach where you want to be in life whilst feeling like an absolute beast. Alright, story time. I remember way back when I used to be when I used to be an overweight teenager, I was a fat kid. I remember being like 12 years old, a little fat kid, yeah? And I was sitting at the back of the class, probably playing some game on my iPad or just talking about some game to my friend. Anyways, out of the corner of my eye, I would spot the popular kids, right? Tall, perfect skin. They all had bad haircuts, but tall and attractive. And they'd be flirting with the girls that I liked. Really, just every girl in class. And back then, when I saw that, it really made me feel so insecure and so uncomfortable in those situations. And I'd just go home at the end of the day feeling like an absolute loser, feeling like a worm, bro. Like a little geek who can't do anything, yeah? Luckily, now I've grown a lot. And I've developed a lot in my self-improvement journey. And to be honest, now I'm the guy in class flirting with the girls. Or there's some dude, like some little fat kid in the corner just looking at me. Which is sadly true. And I would help him. I've tried in the past. This is a side note, but some people just don't want to be helped. It's so annoying. Interestingly enough, even before I had the good body which I have now, and before I'd even discovered looks maxing, before that was even a mainstream thing, what really made me start to be that guy who's in class kicking the back of a girl's chair, touching her, flirting with her, was the fact that I became the confident guy. My mindset switched much faster than my body did. And that proved to me that 70% of self-improvement maybe is just mindset. It's just mind games. It's you versus your own thoughts. That's 70% of self-improvement, and just life comes down to, can you master your brain or does your brain control you, right? So that's definitely one of the primary reasons why I've made the most progress, and I am where I am today, and why I'm going to keep exponentially improving for as far as I can see, is because I have an amazing mindset that I have cultivated for years on end. I've had this mindset, I've been developing it since around 2 months after I first started self-improvement. And that has got to be one of the most powerful weapons I have at my disposal. My mindset. Which has the 5 traits of hyper-masculine men. That's a good place to be, let me tell you. And if you've already reached those points, then I respect you, of course. If you haven't, then I'm proud of you, right, for watching this video, because you clearly want to improve. If you were just some normal dude, right, you want to look better, you wouldn't be watching this video. No. You're not normal. You're better. You're on your way to becoming a knight, to fight in battle for what you believe in. You're on your way to win wars, defeat enemies. And it all comes down to your mindset. So, I would recommend you get a pen and a book, a notebook, a paper, whatever, to write down the lessons you learned from this video right now. Just pause the video, come back. Yeah? So, in this video, we're going to be going over the 5 most important mindset traits for high testosterone. And then I'm going to give you examples of how you can apply those in your everyday life, to act like a man, look like one, and feel like one, right? So, number 1, assertiveness. High testosterone men are extremely assertive. What does that mean? Assertiveness is when you have a strong sense of confidence in your actions and decisions, where you don't question yourself. You know what you want, and you know how you can get there. And if people question you, you put them in their place, right? You tell them what to do. You assert. You are the one with authority in the situation. You are basically the leader of that group, of that specific gathering of people. Whatever it is, if there's a problem and you have an idea to get rid of that problem, you're going to assert your ideas over everyone else. That's number 1, assertiveness. Number 2, competitiveness. Studies have shown, right, that the men with the highest testosterone are fighters and just overall athletes, right? Sports players. People like Usain Bolt. He sprints for a living, but he's freaking jacked. If you see a picture of Usain Bolt, he's jacked, right? And I'm sure he goes to the gym and lifts weight. But the reason he has such a great physique is because sprinting, not only does sprinting raise testosterone, right? But competitiveness, right? His entire job is competing toe-to-toe with other men who want the exact same thing he does. But he demolishes them. He wins. He's the fastest man ever to live. Think about how much testosterone he must have coursing through his veins. Competitive. If you have the urge, the drive to want to be better than everyone else in everything you do, if you have a specific field, or if you play a sport and you want to win, to dominate, to absolutely defeat and crush your enemies, then you have, my friend, competitiveness. The second trait of high testosterone men. Number 3, risk-taking. Men who take risks are clearly the ones with the highest testosterone. Because if you're willing to take risks, what does that tell me? That tells me that you are, 1, confident in your abilities, and you're 2, good at analyzing situations, right? Risk-taking doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you just dive into whatever hole you can find. It doesn't mean you jump off 50 meters into a small puddle because it's a risk. No. It means you look at an issue that you can take place in, you can solve that issue, but there's a risk you fail, and it all comes crashing down upon you, and you do it anyways, because even if you're scared, if you know it won't work, you take the risk because you want to come out on top, and once again, assert your position in that specific area. Number 3, leadership. This one's kind of obvious, yeah? The higher testosterone you have, the more assertive you're going to be, so that means you're going to want to facet the world to your belief system, to your values, to what you want to happen. And part of that comes in being a leader, which means you have to be an effective communicator. You have to be able to get people to understand what it is you want, why you want it, and how they should help you implement it. And, being a leader suggests a lot of things about your personality, right? It means you have decisiveness. You're good at making decisions, right? If you have 2 outcomes which you can choose, you're going to be able to make that without being anxious. It means you have charisma, and you have a natural, or not natural, you can learn to be a good leader, but inclination to take charge, right? If there's an issue, right, at, let's say your house, whatever, you're on the street, and for some reason the cops show up because your friends were acting like idiots, you'd be the guy who'd go up to the cop, and you'd be the one explaining the situation and say that no one actually got hurt or whatever, nothing bad happened, and you'd be the one taking charge of the situation. Now, last but definitely not least, dominance. Dominance is the 5th and probably most important trait of high testosterone masculine men. If you exhibit dominance in social interactions and relationships, it shows that you are comfortable in taking the full responsibility. It shows that you are the one who takes control and leads every situation. No matter what comes your way, people look to you for the answer. Why? Because you are dominant. They are submissive. they do what you want, so they ask you what to do because they're used to it. And trust me, nothing raises testosterone more than seeing your friends have an argument and asking you what you think about it. It's so funny. That happened to me the other day. We were just playing instruments, right? In the music room in my school, right? I play guitar. Two friends wanted to play drums. Neither of them actually know how to play drums, but they wanted to play drums, right? And there's two drum kits, so they were playing. But obviously, you can't have two drummers at the same time. And so they were arguing, and there was like 5 other people in that room. And they turned to me, though I wasn't even playing guitar at that point. There was another guy, another one of my friends was playing guitar, and I was just sitting there, listening, just chilling. They asked me who I think should play the drums. Now, I'm pretty sure I played it on for as long as I could because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And then the break ended, so none of them ended up playing the drums. So yeah, I guess I dominated them so well that break ended. But yeah, domination, number one, doesn't even have to be only for women. It's just you control the world around you. You have grasp of reality, and you can mold it to what you want it is to happen. And at some point, you won't even have to try and get it. It'll automatically come to you, right? You'll automatically get chances to lead and dominate once people are used to that energy coming from you. Now, let me give you some acute examples of the situation. Assertiveness, quickly list them off. During a group project, if you had high testosterone, which you actually might have, or if you have these traits at least, you would confidently, right, just communicate your ideas. If you have to make a presentation, you'd be the one choosing the topic, choosing who does what you're actually going to do, what topics you're going to go over, right? So you'd make sure that even if people disagree with you, you're going to make sure that your voice is heard and you'd take the lead to make decisions for the team, right? At some point, they might disagree with you, right? They're not stupid. Them following you doesn't mean they're stupid. It just means that you have a much higher chance of them agreeing with you because you have a much higher perceived value as you're the leader, right? You're asserting their respect in you. Competitiveness, you're at sports competition, right? You're playing football or, I don't know, you're doing high jump or whatever. You're going to really try super hard to win, right? You're going to be driven to excel and you're going to constantly strive to outperform your peers. You're going to, even if you lose, you're going to be, putting in the grind the entire time, staying strong, and showing you have spirit and desire to win. Even if you get absolutely destroyed, it doesn't matter. As long as you put in that competitiveness and you try your absolute hardest to win, you have high testosterone, man. What else can I say? Number 3, risk-taking, right? Let's say you're going to volunteer to do the school show or you're going to join some club, right? Chess club, or even if you don't know how to play chess, or even in class, right? You're going to take the risk. Teacher asks who wants to go first. You would put your hand up. Teacher asks anything, right? You'd always put your hand up, even if you might get it wrong, right? Being high testosterone doesn't mean you're just a dumb meathead who just sits around and I don't know, does push-ups every once in a while. No, it's more than that. The mental game is as important as the physical game. You take risks even in the intellectual realm simply because you want to win, right? You're motivated by the urge to defeat your opponents. You're motivated by the urge to want to be motivated, if that makes sense. Your main motivation is that you want to do things. So you take risks because that implies you do something. Number 3, leadership. Once again, in a group activity, if you're making a presentation, or you'd naturally take charge, you display decisiveness and charisma, you get people to do what you want to do, or at least listen to you. And you would effectively reach the end goal better than if anyone else led because you're used to it. Dominance. Let's say if you're in class discussing a topic, right? You'd be that guy who's shouting out. You want to make sure that everyone can hear your opinion. You take the lead. You display your desire. You might even be competing with the teacher to see who gets more attention from the students, to see who gets more respect and leadership, and who controls the situation better, which is funny. I do that sometimes. And you might end up getting in trouble because teachers obviously, they're trained to want to have the authority, I guess. But yeah, you just dominance in school. People ask you what to do. You do whatever the hell you want, and no one tells you to stop because they're used to you doing whatever the hell you want, and they're going to agree with you. because they want you to do whatever the hell you want at that point. So yeah, I'm gonna give you some practical advice now. How I developed these traits myself. So I used a method to first get these 5 traits. Once I realized I needed them, to be honest, I just watched movies and I saw the masculine guys all had these. So yeah, here's what I did in the past, and I still do it sometimes, but not as much. So I used, at the start, when I really wanted to develop that mindset, to make myself a bit angry, right? Pissed off for no reason. I just, you can just get angry out all of a sudden, right? You want to punch someone just because you turn it on. So it would awaken competitiveness, dominance, and assertiveness in me, right? Oh, damn. Because you get mad, yeah? You get mad and then you want what you want to happen to happen. Let me see if I can fix this. I dominate this camera. It does what I want. But yeah, this anger, it would push me. I'd be blunt and direct in all of my interactions. Over time, I got into that habit of being straightforward and getting what I wanted to happen, so I can do it normally now, right? It's part of my routine. It's part of my life. It's a habit for me. It's normal. I don't need to artificially stimulate anger and get mad so that I actually can, you know, get a little spike in testosterone, because you might end up fighting someone when you're angry, and then get those traits. No. It took me a couple of months to get used to that, but now I have no fear. I navigate through social interactions. I penetrate them. I absolutely dominate them. It's like everyone's there just to talk to me. It's great. And I just confidently engage with everyone. I often, sometimes, I still find it kind of a challenge, especially if I've been quiet for a while, because I'm just listening to people and then I want to say something. And naturally, when you're quiet, someone else is going to take charge, and that's going to offer some resistance. However, I love to challenge myself to say what I want in those situations. And it's even funnier when I become the leader quickly after them. You're not even part of this conversation. You join the conversation and suddenly you're the main focus. Just to prove that you're socially smooth, right? You do that just for fun. Interesting. This happened the other day, right? I can give you an example. I was waiting for the elevator and you're trying to go up to my house, and some dude showed up. He showed up, right? He started waiting for the elevator, and I was watching a video of myself playing a song with my friends on my phone, and just I don't know where I just struck up a conversation with him, right? He showed up, we got in the elevator, I showed him the video I was watching. I guess it was loud, but I showed him the video and we had a little conversation about it, and boom, then we had to go. Honestly, right, made me feel like an absolute G. It'll make you feel like a G. So, yeah, just a way to learn this, I guess you could say, it's by applying it, or just by being mad, which is going to teach you how to do it. Another method which helped me develop leadership was by taking responsibility, especially in group projects. It doesn't have to be in group projects, right? Anything where someone asks who did this or do you want to do this, take responsibility, take charge, right? Initially, when I did this, right, I would just join the groups, do group project, and I wouldn't really tell the other person, but I would just do everything, the entire thing. I would take all the responsibility. And in the start, they were kind of using me, I guess. They would just sit back and let me do all the work, because obviously everyone would rather do nothing and still get a good grade. And for a while, yeah, they're still going to use you. But then, as you gain confidence, you're going to start, giving small tasks to your peers, to your colleagues, to your partners who are doing that, right? You could ask them, I don't know, make the title or table of contents or some, or, just say this slide when we're presenting. And then you're going to gradually get used to assigning these roles and taking responsibility. And at some point, you're going to realize it's so easy to become the leader because no one wants to do it. People would rather sit back and let someone else make decisions for them. No one wants to use their own brain. So you'd get there and you tell them, you do this, you do that, I'll do this. A little tip is always give yourself slightly more work than everyone else, and then no one can complain. So yeah, it's really easy at some point, right? Everyone's just going to let you step up and lead effectively because they're so used to it. Like a couple weeks ago, last week, right? I had to do this group project with one girl where we had to talk about how Coco Chanel changed the world or something because of fashion or whatever. And I literally told her, I'm gonna go help my friends. I didn't really need help. I just wanted to go hang out with them in class. I'm gonna go help them film their thing. While I'm gone, you make 10 questions, and then I'll answer them when I get home. I haven't answered them yet, but she made those 10 questions. I came back, and basically, she did all her job done. Now I just have to get down to doing mine, and consider it done, right? So, in conclusion, to wrap up this segment, this episode of your life, and no, not your life, right? To wrap up this episode of how to boost testosterone, part 4, the mindset you need to have the 5 traits of the top 1% man, high testosterone, yeah. So we've delved into the world now, yeah, of high testosterone traits. You've seen the real life impacts and how they can absolutely transform your life, right? How they took me from being a little fat kid to being the confident G I am now. So, as we finish, right, as we conclude, remember to harness these traits. Use them for your personal growth and for your social interaction. Because even when there's no one there, you can still assert dominance on yourself, right? If you want to eat sweet and you know you shouldn't, you can still tell yourself no. Right? Like I said, it's a mind game. It's not only about other people. But you're going to, trust me, in a couple months, a couple weeks, I'd say up to 5 months, once you really start getting used to this, you're gonna see your social status, how people value you at school or in clubs or whatever, really skyrocket. Because they're gonna get used to this new version of you, and obviously when you change, everyone's gonna have to change around you. So yeah, join me for the next final part 5 of the series. Just a secret. I've told you in all the other ones what it's gonna be, but I'm just gonna call it secret tip. It'll be an amazing tip, and it kind of has to do with this one a little bit, but it's more in depth in some other details. Anyways, trust me, you do not want to miss out on that. So I encourage you to reflect on what you've learned, I guess. Yeah, you wrote down all those things, I hope. Now you know how to apply them. So if you resonated with my stories, and you gained value from my advice, and you enjoyed them, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, because then more people, more guys are going to see this, and they're going to become much happier in their lives, because they're going to start acting more like a man, right? To be fair, it's going to create more competition for you. But remember, competition is one of the most important traits. You want more competition, right? I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to beat some people, they're going to beat you. But as long as you're winning 70% of the disputes, you're going to feel like a G. As always, your questions and comments are vital, so keep the conversation alive by sharing your thoughts below. See you, bro.